Hey guys, Kia from KegLand, and today we're talking about quite an exciting new product, which is our new Pco38 kegs. Now, essentially these kegs are just like a big plastic bottle. We have put some technology into the bottle itself, so instead of just using straight PET, the wall is made out of a nylon and PET monobarrier. So what that means is we've got bits of nylon distributed within the PET, and that basically makes this sort of layered nylon PET kind of effect, which makes it very difficult for oxygen to get through the plastic. So, typically if you get the standard, Coke bottle, for instance, which is made out of clear plastic, that would be very, very poor. And if you were to put like a light colored lager or something in just a standard PET Coke bottle, you'll find that oxygen will work its way through the plastic and degrade that beer over time. So that's one of the main reasons why we want to put nylon in this, so your beer would last much longer, and also you get less CO2 loss. Some people have this idea that if they pressurize the keg, oxygen won't get in, but the standard reaction of diffusion will still happen through the plastic wall. So if you're home brewing and putting your beer into, standard clear Coke bottles, I would be seriously concerned about it. It still comes up on, forums and on Facebook sometimes, in Facebook groups where people do that. And that's the reason why you don't do that, because you really want a bottle which is purpose built, to take beer. The other thing is, we call this a Pco38 is because of the neck here. The actual neck, or this thread here, is a standard Pco38. Now that's a thread neck type which is designed by the ISBT, or International Society of Beverage Technologists. So we've adopted, that standard thread because we wanted it to be as standard as possible. Thing is, this is an 8 litre keg, but we've also got a 4 litre one, a half size one, which is coming out very soon as well. So when you get the kegs, they'll come like this. And they'll also have a tapping head separately, which comes in a packet like this, which comes with all these parts. So I'll show you how all of these things go together. One of the main objectives when we were making this keg is we wanted a keg which was inexpensive. So a lot of guys who are getting into home brewing can't afford all stainless steel, kegs and stuff like that. We wanted to give them a really good storage and packaging format where it wasn't so expensive to get into the industry, because a lot of people find that threshold from bottling and canning or something like that very expensive to jump from that area into kegging, because you've got to buy, the whole big format kegerator and all that type of stuff. While something like this, which is a bit smaller, could probably fit in a standard bar fridge or, small domestic fridge. And you can also dispense these sideways if you really wanted to. So you could slide them into your domestic fridge and then, put a little tapping head on top or so forth. The other nice thing is, even if you do have a keg system, this is the type of keg which is great to share with friends. So a lot of people, like myself, for instance, if I've got a friend that comes up and says, "Oh, Key, I love your beer. Do you reckon I can buy some off you or get some?" And then you've got that painstaking choice that either I have to package it into bottles for them, which takes me a lot of time, and really it takes all the fun out of making beer once you have to bottle that beer up and give it away to friends. So that was a lot of time. Or I've got the other option of just giving them a stainless steel keg, which is obviously quite expensive, and I'm never quite sure if that stainless steel keg is going to come back or if it's going to come back quick enough. So I'd ever love to give that stainless steel away, because I'm not sure how good my friends are sometimes. So a plastic alternative is obviously a really, really handy packaging format where I can fill beer up into here, put this really inexpensive just Coke bottle cap on top like that, and then I can, for instance, force my friend to say, "Look, you've got to buy your own tapping head because I'm just going to give you this bit." They remove the cap and fit their own tapping head to dispense it at the party or barbecue or wherever they want to dispense the beer at. So a really inexpensive method to share beer or share cocktails and stuff like that, and also to lower the price point of entry for a lot of people getting into kegging in the first place. Now I'll quickly show you how all the assembly goes together. What you'll first have to do is take off the Pco38 cap here, which comes with the keg. Then you'll push this yellow handle on. Now the carry handle just pushes over the neck like that, so you can carry the keg more easily. Now with the tapping head, this comes as an assembly like this with all these parts here, including the dip tube filter. A good little trick that I've done is actually got the dip tube and stuck it in some boiling hot water. So get that water really, really nice and hot, and that'll kind of sterilize the dip tube firstly. But the other nice thing about getting this nice and hot is I can straighten it out. Because they're shipped out to you all coiled up in a small coil, you will have to straighten these out when you first get them. So I generally put them in boiling hot water and just sort of straighten them out like that. And once they've been cooled in that sort of position, they'll sort of remain fairly straight. Now, it doesn't have to be absolutely dead straight. To be honest with you, that's kind of good enough, just like it is now. And then on the tapping head, what I've got is, this tapping head here with a large Pco38 thread on the underside. Then I've got 3 of the Pco 1881 threads on these openings here. So I've got a pressure release valve. I like to generally put mine in the middle like that. So I just screw that on. Now, all of these types of fittings, there's no actual O-ring or anything like that. They're all kind of wedge seals. And that's a really nice, reliable way to seal, because it means you've got a hard plastic on a hard plastic. So you just screw them together. You don't need to overly tighten them or anything like that. You just sort of screw them on like that, and then they're done. And then same with this one. I generally like to use, the red for gas, and I generally use liquid or the yellow for liquid. So that's liquid gold is the saying I use to just remember that. Then what I do is I get this silicone elbow to attach the silicone tube to the bottom of the dip tube on that yellow carbonation cap. So I just basically get this guy, push it onto here. It does actually help if the silicone's a little bit wet, I'll say as well. So I dip that in that hot water there, and that way it just slides on really easily, like that. And then I get the other end of this silicone elbow and push it onto the back of that yellow barb. So it's just on the inside like that, so you can see how that goes. Now, on the other end of the dip tube, I've got this filter. So this filter is sort of a dual purpose filter. It's actually got a fine stainless steel mesh here, so that way if you've got any particulates inside your beverage, you don't really want hops and that type of stuff going up the dip tube and then getting stuck in your poppets is, a very common place for it to all get jammed in there. So a nice little thing is to use this guy on the end to stop that. But secondly, it has a little weight in here as well. So there's actually a stainless steel weight in the injection mold. So if you are dispensing the keg in a sideways orientation, the dip tube will go to the bottom of the keg. So, that's another handy little thing. So you push that on the end. Now, also should mention, we do send out the dip tubes a little bit on the long side. So before I do this, I want to check the height inside the keg like that. And as you can see, I've probably got a little extra length than I need. So I'm going to chop off just a short little bit like that. That is a little bit important because it does mean that, if I am dispensing the keg sideways, the dip tube itself is free to move inside the keg. So I'm just using these little tube cutters here that we sell, only a couple of bucks, and just going to chop about 5 centimeters. Now, another little small tip is I generally go on a slight angle like that when I'm doing stuff like this, because I don't want that dip tube to completely, if I push it all the way to the end of this device here, I don't want it to shut the flow off. So I've got that very sort of slight angle, maybe about a 45 degree or something like that. So just basically chop this like so. Yeah, that's perfect. And that way I push this guy into there like that, and then screw it on top of the keg. So just drop that whole filter assembly and dip tube into the keg like that, and then just do the lid up. Once again, don't have to be overly tight. I think once you've used this device, you'll find that it works pretty well. And as you can see, that dip tube is just sitting at the bottom end of the keg, but if I flip this over like that, it'll basically still be at the bottom. Now, when you're dispensing in a sideways configuration, you will find that last sort of glass of beer or whatever beverage you're dispensing won't all sort of draw out, especially with the filter in place. It's definitely a lot better when it's standing up. However, look, once you get down to that last glass of beer, you can just unscrew the lid like so and just pour the contents out anyway. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoy using the new Pco38 kegs. Look, I think they're going to be absolutely fantastic. We've already sold quite a few of them through the website, so I'm sure they'll really kind of take off. Anyway, if you want to hear about any other cool stuff that's coming out, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, or join our Facebook Homebrew community group. The other thing that would really help us is if you share this with friends. So if you've got another friend who's into kegging and hasn't heard about these awesome little plastic kegs, then definitely share this video with them so they can hear about them as well. All right, that's it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.